Okay, and we're recording. So welcome to today's meeting. We're going to be discussing wonder. This is our 10th meeting so far, so it feels like it's been so much more. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. You can share this out too. All right, so as always, we're just going to go through the Google Slides presentation. And of course, this is Wonder. So earlier this week, or maybe yesterday, I posted in Slack some different quotes that we could go over or just spotlight in the meeting, and we had several different people vote on the different ones. So I decided to put all of them in here. So they're throughout the slides. So our first one says, "It's never too late to start over," and this is from Julie. And you'll see some more along the way. So of course, in every meeting, we're going to go ahead and discuss the book that we read, and we're going to use some discussion questions, which are taken from Oprah's book club. She has some amazing discussion questions. So if you're interested, visit her website. She has them for every single genre. And we're also going to be playing Kahoot today, and you'll have the chance to earn some points, and the point system will be explained again later in today's meeting. And of course, if you have any questions, just raise your hand or unmute yourself, because sometimes when I'm screen sharing, I can't see that your hand is raised. So if you just say, hey, you can go ahead and give your input. And if this is your first time coming, we are Brandon Millennium. We're a book club designed for our generation, Gen Z. You can find us anywhere on any media at Brandon Millennium. We have LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. So if you want to check us out, feel free to. So since I see some new faces here today, we're going to go ahead and start with some introductions again. So when you go, just tell us your name, your age, your grade, where you're from, why you joined, and your favorite book. And I'll go ahead and start us off. My name is Courtney. If you don't know me already, I'm a 16-year-old sophomore from Alabama. I started this organization because I love reading, and I wanted to help fuel that love for reading throughout our generation as we progress into the future and just kind of keep everyone interested in reading. If you, like I always say, if you ask me my favorite book, I'll probably tell you that I cannot choose a favorite, but if I absolutely had to, it would be The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton, because that's just a book that stuck with me ever since I read it, and I just fell in love with it. So if anyone else wants to go, they can go ahead and just unmute themselves and introduce them. And we can actually start off with our two officers that are here, Aaliyah and Yasha. You guys can go ahead, just introduce yourselves so they can meet our officer team.
Well, my name is Aaliyah, and I'm the vice president and co-founder of Brandon Millennium. I really like to read. I love reading diverse books and just books in all different genres, but my favorite genre is realistic fiction. And I also love painting, and we started this book club because we just really loved reading, and we wanted to give everyone else a chance to just share our love of reading and just help everyone to have access to books, anyone, and just give us a place that we can just come and talk about books online, since we're having to do everything virtual because of COVID and everything. So yeah, I'm glad to meet all of you new people, and I hope that you really enjoy being a part of our book club.
And if you check the chat, Yasha has posted her introduction there, so you can read that. And Yasha is our secretary. She's one of our secretaries. She's doing a really great job. She comes to every meeting. She's really nice. So yeah, that's Yasha. And if anyone else wants to go, you can go ahead.
Hi, I'm Emma. I'm a 17-year-old senior. I'm from New York, and I joined because I love reading and competitions. And I don't really have a favorite book. I just started reading the Harry Potter series, and I like that. And I also like anything by Cassandra Clare. So yeah.
Isn't Cassandra Clare the author of Clockwork Princess?
Yeah, I'm rereading that series right now.
Our other secretary, Kevin, he really loves that series. He talks about it every time he introduces himself.
I'm Abby, and I'm also a 17-year-old senior from New York. I joined because I wanted to read more books than Emma, and I thought it'd be fun to start reading because I've never been a huge reader, but I wanted to get back into reading. And my favorite book is probably a Kindle book that I read a long time ago called The 13th Unicorn, and it sounds really cheesy, but it's actually really good. So, yeah.
Nice to meet you. And I love your competitive spirits. You and Emma crack me up when we do the scavenger hunts. And Nancy, if you want to introduce yourself, you can as well.
Hi, I'm Nancy. I am 20 years old. I'm a sophomore in college. I'm from Minnesota, but I live in California now. I joined because I love reading and I just want to make more connections, get more experience. And my favorite book would be um hmm, Divergent, uh, Hunger Games, Mockingjay, and I think that's it.
Those are both great books. I'm in love with the Divergent series, and I read The Hunger Games as well, and it was pretty good, and so was the movie. So it's nice to meet all of you. I'm glad you could come here and take the time out of your day to come. Um, if you have anything else to say during the meeting, like I said, feel free to. So here is our second quote, and this is from Augie. He said, "I wish that every day could be Halloween. We could all wear masks we could wear masks all the time, so then we could walk around and get to know each other before we got to see what each other looked like under those masks." And that was a really great quote. I think a few people voted on that one. If we applied that to life, not basing what we think of each other on looks, but just our personality and our attitude, I think the world would be a much better place. Okay, so we're going to start a discussion, and the discussion rules are the same as usual. There's a 2-minute speaking limit. Keep it PG as always, and be respectful of others and their thoughts and opinions. So we can go ahead into our discussion. Okay, so normally I like to start with the discussion just to get us started, but whoever wants to go, you can just raise your hand and go. So, like I said earlier, these come from Oprah's book club, and the reason we do this is because some people might not have finished the book and we don't want to spoil it for others, so keep that in mind when you talk about it too. So these are kind of like general questions, but you can get as deep or not deep as you want to. So the first one is, what was your favorite scene in the book and why? And I'll start this off by saying my favorite scene, or it's plural actually, because I liked all the conversations between Augie and Jack, because I just liked their friendship, the way they weren't afraid to say things. And even in the beginning, Jack was kind of like, um, I think he said you should sue your surgeon when Augie was talking about how his face looked after surgery, and I just liked the way they were just so comfortably blunt with each other, and it was just an amazing friendship.
I like all the scenes that show how protective his older sister is, and when she kind of becomes more lenient when he realizes that he is who he is, and he's not ashamed of it.
Yeah, I completely agree. I love Via's character in the stories.
I read this book a little while ago, so I don't exactly remember how it happens, but I'm pretty sure I like the scene where Summer sits with Augie at like lunch, and I just thought that was really cute.
Yeah, that was adorable. And when they did the movie adaptation of it, I just love that part. And I think it's like featured in the trailer too.
That was my favorite scene too. I just thought that they were adorable, and then she had a big heart to just want to be different from the rest of the kids and to take time and sit with them.
And before we move on? I know Yash is in the car. Does anyone else want to discuss? If not, that's fine. And also, I just remembered the reason we're reading these books is because April is Diversity Awareness Book, so we chose a book that would just spotlight diversity. And we can move on to the next one. Sorry. Okay, so question 2. What did you think of the writing style and point of view? I remember in the last meeting when we were discussing this, I mentioned this book was mainly on a middle school level, but I just think this highlighted diversity so well, so I chose this for this one. The writing style, I like it because of the way it's told from like the different point of views, and I think RJ Palacio really highlighted what's going through a middle schooler's mind, and you don't see much of that. I know you see children's books and then you see teen books, but there aren't, or that I've read many books narrated by a middle schooler. And I also think like the way that she changed point of views throughout the book. I love stories that do that.
I also like stories that kind of change point of view because you get to see what the life is like through each character's mind. So you're not just like seeing the characters, but you're getting in their heads and kind of understanding what's happening. So it's kind of cool to see the world from Augie's point of view.
I like how, like, I said like a million times, every character is never too small, you know, because you always get everyone's point of view and everyone is still equal, even though it's mostly about Augie. The author tries to be really inclusive, even if it's just like, I don't remember which character, but a girl character is very annoying at the beginning, but then you saw that she was just annoying because she was proud of who she is. A little bit too confident, but
Charlotte.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I never thought about it that way, but that is something about the way she, and that, you know, that takes a lot of thought as an author to design all the different characters and give them their own personalities, and it takes a lot of thinking to do that. And if no one else has anything to add, we can move on to number 3. So number 3 says, would you be interested in reading a sequel or another book by this author? And I'll go ahead and say that she did write, not a sequel, but it's kind of like a book that goes next to it. It's called Augie and Me. And this one that I have is just the next 3 books compiled into one. They're 3 short stories. So she's got a story that tells the wonder story from Julian's point of view, one that tells him from his friend back in his other city that he used to live in, his point of view, and the third one tells it from Charlotte's point of view. And I highly recommend reading this one because it explains the story a lot better, and especially Julian's point of view, it kind of changes the way you think about him. So yes, definitely, I highly recommend reading the sequel. And I do think she wrote I don't think she's written any other books other than Wonder or related around Wonder, but she wrote one called We're All Wonders, which is like the Wonder story, but like in a children's illustrated book. And I just looked at that yesterday and it looked pretty good.
I would definitely be willing to read that and a series, like the sequel to the book about maybe his transition to high school and his transition to college. Because I feel like that'd just be like a coming of age story with a little harder life, kind of harder life. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. That would be nice to see him as he progresses through life.
I also think it'd be pretty cool to see his life like as he gets older. And I think I would definitely like to read like the sequels or like the extra stories. It'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I would too. I think it would be interesting to see how they grow up and then look back on their life and their friendships and see how they would grow either together or apart as they got older.
Okay, we can move on to the next question. So This question says, what do you think the significance of the title is in relation to the story? So this is just asking, what do you think the story or the title Wonder means to the story? And I just think it kind of means that we're all different. We're all wonders. I think that was in a story somewhere where she said, or he said, we're all wonders. And it just kind of puts emphasis on the fact that we're all diverse. We're never all going to be the same. And we need to embrace our diversity, basically.
I
I
also
feel
like
like
to think of it. Oh, sorry.
okay. So I feel like the title is mostly like different wonders of life, like different chapters of life. Like one person could be doing this, person will be doing another thing, and another person doing another thing. But I think the message is that you can do one particular field of thing and still be, successful at it. Like you can still put the hard work and everything into it, and you have the passion for it and everything and the confidence, you still make it in that position that you want to get. So any field of study that you want to do or a different, thing, you can still make it. That's what I feel the title will be about.
I agree. That's a really good way to look at it.
I like to think of it as like you always wonder what's going on in somebody's life and like their backstory. And by saying we're all wonders, it means we all have a really cool backstory that we shouldn't be ashamed of. So yeah.
That's another good way to think of it as well.
I kind of saw it as like both the way Emma described it and the way Courtney described it. I think is kind of like wondering about people's lives and like how they see the world, but also like we're all different and wondering about that.
Yeah, those are all great, great theories. I'm going to see if maybe she put an explanation to it somewhere, but either way, all of those were good answers. So, question 5 is, which character can you relate to the most? And I'd like to say a lot of them, but I think if I could relate to one of them, it would probably be Summer, because of the way she's just kind of open and bubbly and she doesn't care what other people think about her. And at the beginning of the story, when she first sat by Augie and she went away from her group of friends and she kind of shrugged them off like, I don't care, she'd rather sit with Augie. And that's how I can be sometimes. Like if I see someone sitting alone, I would go sit with them, because you just have to kind of put yourself in that person's shoes and think about what they're feeling. So when it comes down to it, put them first and think about what they might be going through at that time.
I honestly feel like I don't know which one is which, but I feel like Abby and I are Augie and Summer because I don't remember what happened, but in 7th grade we ended up staying next to each other every day at lunch, and we're both not weird. So, and it always shows you it's really nice to have a friend that's really close to you.
I agree.
I was gonna say something similar. I mean, like, I think I'm kind of a mix of like Summer and Jack in the sense that I'm usually like a really loyal friend and really supportive. So yeah.
And very sarcastic. Just gonna add that in.
Okay, we can go ahead and move along if no one else wanted to add. And I think, okay, this is our second to last one. Although this is a work of fiction, do you think this could or has happened in real life? And I strongly say yes. I know this happens in several other places. People might not have the same condition as Augie, but it definitely has happened. And back in the 80s or the 90s, there was a movie called Mask. And I believe it was based on a true story. It was a movie, but it's almost the same as the Wonder Story. You should definitely go watch it. I think Cher stars in it as the mom, and it's about the boy with he has some face deformities, and he's going to school for the first time. And that was based on a true story. So I truly believe this can and does happen in real life all the time.
I agree. I think this does happen. It might not be the exact same like situation, but there's a lot of people that have different conditions and are treated differently, and there's also a lot of people that support those people and are very helpful and looking for friends and stuff. So yeah.
I
Yeah,
also do this happens really often. Not really often, but like decently often. And but like today, I know a girl in my high school has a very similar condition to Augie, but she has a twin sister who is her best friend. So she's been able to grow up with a really good support system. And she's gone to school her entire life and she's done really well. So I think with our more inclusive culture and our more like anti-bullying structure in schools, we've been able to like not ignore, but like encourage different people.
yeah, I agree. I think schools have gotten a lot better at being inclusive of people with disabilities. And I just feel like as a culture, it's something that we could improve on because some people still don't accept people with certain disabilities. But I do feel like we've gotten a lot better with that.
Those are all really good answers, and we will go ahead and move on to our final discussion. And what we do at the end, we just have a free discussion. So if there's something that wasn't covered in one of the questions before, you can just talk about it. Or any other questions you'd like to ask everyone else, you can go ahead and ask those now. And if no one else has any, that's fine as well. We can move on. So next we have, I think this is the trailer to Wonder. So this is the movie that came out in 2017 starring Owen Wilson and Julia Roberts. So we can go ahead and watch that. And let me know if the audio is. So that is the official movie trailer. Like I said, it came out in 2017. I checked the streaming services and I didn't see it on anything for free. So you can buy it off Prime or YouTube or wherever you buy it. But it's a pretty good movie. I watched it when it came out. And once you've read the book, I highly recommend watching the movie because it sticks pretty close to the book. Okay, and here is our last quote. It says that I think there should be a rule that everyone in the world should get a standing ovation at least once in their lives. And I strongly agree with that. I think that would make everybody a lot happier if we just had the opportunity just once or more in our lives. Okay, so we're halfway through. Next, we have our game. So you will get points for this, which go along with our point system, which will be talked about later in the meeting. So we're going to be doing Kahoot. So what we're going to do, I'm going to post on this screen, so you'll be looking at that. So if you have another device, you can use that. So most everyone voted on general book trivia. So we're going to use one that we used in our very first meeting because none of you were here in that meeting. So it's just some general trivia on some YA books. And for the points, what you're gonna do to know how many points you earn is whatever your Kahoot score is, you divide that by 1,000. And winner will receive 5 additional points. So I will go ahead and stop sharing this and see if I can get the game pan up. Okay, great. It's still there. So I'm gonna go back here. And I'll put it in chat too. And you guys can go ahead and join. And I just realized, sorry, my screen share was still paused. And I see, I think almost everyone's in. Okay. I think we're waiting on. Okay, I see Abby and Nancy. Will you be joining? If not, that's fine as well.
I'm coming.
Okay, that's fine. We can wait. Okay, we can go ahead and get started. I see you. We'll find a way to minimize this. Okay, so this is just trivia on YA books, like I said. First question, who is the main character in The Outsiders? And we would have definitely read this book for our book club, but our rule is it has to be written in 2000 or later because this is like for Gen Z. The correct answer was Ponyboy Curtis. Strongly recommend reading that if you haven't already. And Abby is in first place. Good job. Next question is who wrote the Delirium series? The Delirium series is a dystopian written not long ago. It's really good. I highly recommend that you read it. It's got 3 parts and then plus a mini story. The correct answer was Lauren Oliver. She also wrote Before I Fall, which is on Netflix. And Abby is currently in first place because you can ignore mine because I know all of these already. Next question. Star Carter was shot after she attended the party with Khalil. True or false? The correct answer was false. Khalil was actually shot. See different people moving up. Next question. Which of these books was written by Dr. Seuss? And this question, I believe, is actually a trivia question during Read Across America Week in Slack one day. The correct answer is the Lorax. The Hat and the Cat is not correct because it's the Cat in the Hat. I can't remember if I made this one or not. Sorry about this. My computer does weird things sometimes. Okay, so I think Aaliyah is in first place, which, can you guys still see my screen? Because,
Yes.
Yeah, I can see it.
good. I'm trying to progress now, but it decided to crash. Sorry about this. It does this randomly. It'll just stop working. One second. It's still loading. Sorry about this. Let's see if I can host it from my phone. Okay, and it's back a little bit. Sorry about that delay. So it looks like Nancy is in first place as of now. Okay, next question. In The Hate You Give, Star Carter is from where? And if you guys haven't already, Angie Thomas, author of The Hate You Give, just wrote a sequel to it called Concrete Rose, told from the point of view of Maverick. It's really good. And the correct answer is Garden Heights. And Emma has moved up to first place. Next question. Who wrote The Hate You Give? Correct answer is Angie Thomas. And I see Abby has moved up, so keep up the good work. Next question. 5 Feet Apart, how old is Stella Grant? And they also made this one into a movie. I think Cole Sprouse is in it. I read the book over the summer and it was really good. The correct answer is 17. And Emma has a streak now, and she is currently still in the lead. A Blank in Time was written by Madeline L'Engle. I don't know how to say her last name. This is also a movie adaptation. I think it had Oprah, Storm Reed, and Mindy in it. The correct answer was A Wrinkle in Time. I think everyone's rank stayed the same for that round. What is the oldest recorded book in the world? This is kind of a question that you would get if you paid attention in history class. Correct answer is the Gutenberg Bible. This is a question where you select several of them. So which of the following books have been banned at some point in the United States? And I highly recommend reading books off the banned book list because normally it's something that a lot of people come against because it's speaking out about something. I think all of them were correct. Yeah, I think all of these have been banned at some point in time. And Yasha is currently in first place. Next question, Macbeth was written by what famous playwright? Correct answer was William Shakespeare. True or False, To Kill a Mockingbird was written by Harper Lee. Correct answer is true. It was written in 1960. Sorry, I accidentally skipped the leaderboard. Next question, who wrote Don Quixote? This book was written a really long time ago, but it's really funny. You should definitely read it. Correct answer is Miguel de Cervantes. And Yasha is still in first place with Emma in second, Abby in third, and Nancy in fourth. Next question. Which of the following books did John Green write? And a fun fact, John Green was originally from Alabama, but he doesn't live there anymore. And he's also the host of the YouTube series, can't even think of it now, Crash Course. He's the host of Crash Course. Correct answer is The Fault in Our Stars. And Nancy has moved up. Next question. How many siblings does Ramona Quimby have in the book series by Beverly Cleary? And just quickly, Beverly Cleary passed away at the age of 104 about a week ago. So we have a tribute going to honor her. So if you want to add one, just DM me on Slack. And also virtual readers are reading her books this week just to honor her. The correct answer is 2. She had an older sister, Beezus, and a younger sister, Roberta. This one is one where you select multiple answers. It says, which of the following books are by Renee Watson? Correct answer are Piecing Me Together and Watch Us Rise. Piecing Me Together was the first book we read in this book club. It was a really good one. If you want to look at the meeting from that one, it's posted in Slack and the past meeting channel. Next question. How many books are in the Giver book series by Lois Lowry? If you haven't read that before, it's a dystopian written by her. I read the first one. I haven't read any of the others, but I've heard they're pretty good. I think they're in some school curriculums too. Correct answer is 4, I believe. It's The Giver, Gathering Blue, The Sun, and something after that. And I think everybody's ranks have been staying the same for the past few rounds. Next question is also a multi-select, so select all correct options. Which of these movies were books first? And I highly recommend if you ever watch a movie adaptation of the book, read the book first, because a lot of times they tend to stray away from what's in the actual book. And these were all books first. And Just Mercy, we read that back in February, I believe. It's a good nonfiction written by Brian Stevenson. I Know Why the Blank Bird Sings is written by Maya Angelou. This is a memoir of her life up until I think about the age of 14. It's a pretty good book if you'd like to read it. Correct answer is Caged. And I think 3 different people have a streak right now, and Yasha is still in first place. We have about 5 questions left. Which of these books was written by a female author? Correct answer is Pride and Prejudice, which is written by Jane Austen. This is also multi-select. Which of the following are authors? Correct answer. What? Oh, and Emma has moved up to first place with Abby right behind her. Okay, we've got about 3 questions left. Dallas Winston, aka Dally, killed the Soch and the Outsiders. Is that true or false? And there was actually a question about the Outsiders as a bonus in this month's scavenger hunt, which if you haven't participated in, those have been really fun. So be sure to check them out. And Yasha's moved up back to first place. Next question. In To Kill a Mockingbird, who saves the kids from Bob Ewell? This is also a good book. If you haven't read it, it's definitely good. They also made a movie back a long, long time ago. It's still in black and white, but it's good as well. The correct answer is Boo Radley. Okay, another multi-select question. Which of the following people are divergent? And this is in reference to the Divergent book series. The correct answers are Trish, Uriah, and Foyle. Caleb was not divergent in this series. And Abby has moved up, and Yasha's currently in first place. And this is a bonus question. If you're paying attention in the meeting, you should know this one. Correct answer is the Outsiders. So finally, we can see this leaderboard who wins, and everyone that participated will get the number of their points divided by 1,000. And in third place is Abby, who got 10 out of 25. And second place is Yasha, and I'm pretty sure it's going to show me in first place, meaning Yasha, you have won our Kahoot trivia, so that's bonus 10 points for you. And everyone else, you can divide your score by, I think I said 1,000. So for example, let me go back. If your score, like my score is, or Abby's score is 16,587, she would get, I think 10,000 divided by 10,000. Hold on. So she would get 16 bonus points. And if you join the points channel, that is where you can see all of your points. And there is a document pinned to the channel in general. And before I close out of this, did everybody get a chance to see their points? Okay, great. So those will be updated within the next few days. So we just have a little bit more to discuss before we end. I know we got about 9 minutes left. So we'll make this quick while this takes forever to load as usual. Okay, so congratulations to everyone who played. So here are updates. Like I said, the point system, there's a document attached to the link to this. So if you want to go back and review this. So basically what this is you get points for doing things like coming to meetings, participating in the question of the day, which will be resuming back on Monday, playing the trivia in our meetings or different things like the scavenger hunt is where you can earn points. And in the document, it'll show you where you can kind of cash in your points for prizes like gift cards. Next, we are 501c3 certified, so there are several grants and benefits as well. So our fiscal sponsor is Hat Club. So they have a Slack workspace, which is really, really fun. I highly suggest you joining it. They have premium Slack, so there's a lot going on there. We have a channel in there, Brand New Millennium, so you can join that. We don't post anything as of now, but if we had to, you could just join that to be a part of it. There are several fun channels for everything. There are a lot of coders in there as well. There's actually a channel called Count to a Million, where people are just counting to 1,000,000 on Slack. So also volunteers. So if you're volunteering, just complete your task and log your hours in Clockify, and make sure your Airtable will reach out if you need anything. We're working on making some updates to that as well. So be on the lookout for probably an update in your channel. Also, this is not on here, but the readathon is still going on. We actually have some readathon managers who are going to be keeping up with the forums because it's a lot for one person to deal with. So I'll post an update this week, the same as last week, but from then on, it'll be back to the original way. So we've changed our meetings. Our meeting used to be bi-weekly, so we have 2 a month, but now we've changed them to once a month just because I know some of you might not have time, and just so we have time to do anything else that we would need to do. So they're going to be on the first Friday of each month, and volunteer meetings or officer meetings will be as needed. And as of now, we don't need one. Our next one might be over the summer, if then. And be sure to follow our YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter, and you can also visit our website. Next, we have our virtual library. So this was in Slack, started about a week or 2 ago. So we have a virtual library going on where you can kind of check out books or their PDFs. I know sometimes it might be hard to find them, and I'm really good at finding them. So if you ever want to check out a book, there's a request form that you can fill out in Slack. So there's also a document pinned to that channel with a little more on that, but be sure to check it out. I post the books for our meetings on there as well. Okay, so here's our timeline for the rest of the year. We have today's meeting on the 2nd, and this just shows how the meetings are going to go for the rest of the year. So we're going to have meetings in June, July, August. We won't have a meeting. We're actually going to be doing a writing contest that month, so we won't have a meeting for a book to read. And those are the ones for the rest of the year. And this will be in Slack, so you can reference that anytime. So I put out a poll yesterday on our book that we were going to read, and this one got the most votes. It's called An Emotion of Great Delight. It's written by Tahira Mafi. And if you were here a few months ago when we read Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs is actually married to Tahira Mafi. So this is a fiction written in 2021, but the timeline where the story is in 23. So the summary is it's a look into the world of a single Muslim family in the wake of 9/11, about child of immigrants forging blurry identity, falling in love, and falling hope in the midst of, and I'm sorry, I can't see that bottom part. So this actually just came out. She wrote a book a few months ago, or a few years ago, called A Very Large Expansive Sea. They kind of go together, but not a lot. And yeah, if you know the number of points you got from Kahoot, just DM it to me on Slack so I can add them to the channel. So about this book, it just came out this year, but I looked on Libby and I couldn't find it. I looked on Hoopla and I couldn't find it. I'm still looking for PDFs of it, possibly because authors will sometimes release the early PDFs, which are kind of the unrevised versions. So if you can find it, good, and just let me know where you found it. If you can't find it, you might have to buy it off of Amazon. I saw a copy on eBay for like $13, which I kind of hate because normally I try to have books that we don't have to pay for, but you might have to for this one. And also, our next meeting isn't until May, so you may be able to find it before then. And if I find it anywhere, I'll be sure to keep you guys updated, but that's just a heads up that it might be hard to find since it just came out this year. So our next meeting is going to be May 7th at the same time. I'll post the Zoom link closer to the time, and you'll receive an email reminder closer. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them now. And of course, you can always DM me at Slack or email us at Brandon Millennium. Okay, well, thank you all so much for coming. I really enjoyed today's meeting. It's always great to have them, and I thank you all so much for coming. And like I said, be sure to check out Slack for any updates we have. Our next scavenger hunt will probably be in May. I think we're going to do an end of the school year themed one, so be on the lookout for that one. And I might be tempted to post one before then because I know you guys really enjoy them. And I think that's all the updates we have. So you all are free to go. I hope you have an amazing day and a good rest of your weekend.